Hey, what's up, everybody? It has literally taken me over an hour to get this StreamYard thing set up, to get the videos transferred and all of those things. It is now 5:23. I have been up since 3 something and I laid there for a while. And then at 4, I was like, you know what, let me get up. Because let me tell you something. Like, this is going to plague me until I get it out. Like, I have to purge my thoughts in order to move forward, and I have to say what needs to be said. Okay, so I do have a problem. For the most part, I have been doing really good. If you all, well, you don't know, this is a brand new channel. I had a channel with a few thousand subscribers, and it really blew up over the course of the last election in 2020, because I was talking politics. I have tried to stay out of it, okay, and just for my own peace of mind because it gets me so riled up. And really, you know, um, somebody was saying, "Oh, I'm so surprised that you're interested in politics," and honestly, it really it's because of politics and because the policies kind of shape my community and the country that I live in, and it affects me personally. It really does. But also, I am very passionate about being lied to, being indoctrinated, different things like that. So I am very passionate about those types of things. And when they happen, when I see them, I have to call them out. So it was an instance where, of course, what got me interested in politics is because I was like, okay, this is a way to kind of dismantle the system is through this situation right here. So it was during Donald Trump's first presidency. It was like people were so angry at him, so mad at him. And I thought, okay, but this man has been in so many music videos, not only videos, in lyrics, like, speaking on Trump or mentioning his name in lyrics as something to aspire to, like as a luxury type of situation. The Apprentice, I mean, Jesse Jackson, all of these different things. I have seen Trump moving around and about in the community. So it just piqued my interest, and I started looking into like, wow, did he really say that? I didn't know he was that type of person, and I looked into it, and they lied on him. So of course it's been going on ever since. And the thing that really got me so riled up most recently is the interview that he did with the National Association of Black Journalists. And I was actually thinking, oh wow, he's actually taken the time to acknowledge this organization and go and speak to them and honor their questions and whatnot. And I thought it was a great thing. Of course, a lot of people was like, oh, he don't need to be there. My thing is, okay, yes, definitely grill him if you have a problem with him, or get him and see what he's really talking about if you're trying to further his cause, or his movement and campaign. So I watched actually I didn't watch it initially, but of course the next morning on social media, or hours later, I don't know when it was, is all this chatter and fodder about, oh my God, you know Donald Trump attacks Black journalists during the, conference or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, Trump, what did you get up here and say? Because the man is thrown off. Okay. Now, I will definitely admit to that. He is off his rocker. He says the craziest thing. He says a lot of things that a lot of us talk about amongst ourselves around the kitchen table, as Wendy Williams would say, the kitchen table talk. And, just so many different things like, and I feel like I'm a real ass bitch, and I recognize real, okay? And I feel like he be spitting some real stuff. So anyway, so I go and look at it, and and he didn't answer the questions, and that's what I'm like, oh my God. Don't go up there and dance around the questions. Be prepared, because they're gonna come for you. You have to make a good impression, basically. But I know he don't think like that. He's not about pandering. He's about, I'm gonna stay true to who I am, period, regardless. And he don't care how you feel about it. So I go and watch the thing, and actually I have a video, and I can show you guys because I want to show you the difference between two interviews that he did. And you could tell. And what I said in the comments was, wow, basically a good interviewer and a good journalist would be biased and give you a bias introduction, come in, give you a moment, butter you up a little bit, let you say your piece, how are you, and then get to, you know, the nitty gritty. And that's just how you deal with people. That's psychology. And, people were in the comments, oh, but we can't treat him with kid gloves and she's not his babysitter and XYZ. But common sense will tell you you're going to have to kill people with kindness. You're going to have to approach people in a way so they don't get defensive, so they don't put a guard up and different things like that. It's common sense. And then turns out, so I have the clip if you guys want to see it. The lady, hold on, I want to
Thank you.
Play it immediately. So, she says, please welcome the former president of the United States, Donald Trump. He comes out, he walks out, he does a little, pause for, any cameras or whatever, and he goes over, shakes her hand, and they proceed.
How are you? Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country, including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South.
Y'all hear the few claps, etc.
Ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much.
I absolutely agree with the opportunity zones. There's an area in Dallas called Redbird, and from what I understand, it is being revived, or was being revived, because of opportunity zones. There's even a black-owned restaurant in that area now, the Breakfast Brothers. So when you talk about things like opportunity zones, they make it easier for businesses to open in these, maybe, in the black neighborhoods, basically the rundown neighborhoods, and that is what it is. That is what it is. And, they get incentives to open businesses in those neighborhoods. So I think it's up to black people to take advantage of those opportunities.
And, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money. They were stone cold broke, and I saved them. And I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me.
So Kamala didn't even give him the respect to show up. Just like Kamala didn't have the respect to talk to Ice Cube about the contract with Black America, or Biden, just like the Kamala or Biden administration did not have enough decency to talk to the author of this book, Dr. Claude Anderson, and I actually lost a lot of respect for some people because they say flat out, for instance, Dr. Claude Anderson on The Breakfast Club and on Boyce Watkins podcast said flat out, Jared Kushner reached out to him every other week. What is your plan for Black America? We want to work with you. We want to implement some of the things that we're familiar with this book, Powernomics, et cetera, et cetera. And he told them no, he didn't want to work with them. He wanted to work with the Biden administration. He formerly worked with the Jimmy Carter administration. Also, I think he's taught at these prestigious Ivy League schools. So, same thing with Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey tells a story about going to Trump Towers, meeting with Trump, telling him he had an idea, wanting to get in contact with Ben Carson, who was the HUD guy, housing and urban development, to open community centers or whatever in these closed down schools or whatever. He said they did it 3 times. They opened 3 schools or centers or whatever they were. Ben Carson called him up. He said Trump connected him right to Ben Carson. They did what they had to do. They opened these communities centers. Ben Carson people or whoever called him up and said, hey, we want to take a picture in front of these schools. He said this, you guys go watch Earn Your Leisure. It was the interview with Steve Harvey. He tells this story. He said, no, y'all caught, because the Black community, he was talking to the Black community as he's telling this story. He said, y'all called me all kind of coons, all kind of this, that, and the other. He said, and which is so jelly back of him. And if you know what a jellyback is, that's a motherfucker with no backbone. But he said, y'all called me all of these names. Y'all tried to cancel me. He said, he told Ben Carson, he said, no, because of what happened in the Black community after I worked with y'all, I will never take a picture. Y'all trying to end my career or whatever he said. It is a mind blowing that he can say some shit like that, even knowing what that administration actually accomplished based off of him making a phone call to Donald Trump directly and Donald Trump hooking him up with who he needed to talk to. Like, this is so crazy to me that people can just overlook this kind of shit. And I'm just so annoyed at this point. But he definitely did answer the question, and he addressed the fact that she was being rude. And also, let's rewind back to when she said, the nicest thing she said was, thank you for giving us an hour of your time when he walked out, because people were like, oh, she said, thank you for giving us your time. She was trying to be funny. And if y'all can't catch the shade, I need y'all to keep up, because he will later go on to say, and if he had not said it, we would not have known. But he will later go on to say that you guys were 35 minutes late because you couldn't get the equipment working. It still was not working. They could not hear each other on stage. The people in the audience could hear them, and the other Black journalists did acknowledge that she is having a hard time hearing as well, and it is something wrong with the audio.
Under false pretense. And then you said you can't do it with Zoom.
And then Kamala didn't even show up. So, okay, so I'm going to fast forward to this because, they go back and forth or whatever. And once he starts talking about being late and your equipment wasn't working, she starts talking over him and cutting him off. And then so you also have to understand that she came out there riled up because they were late. She was probably back there frantic trying to figure out what is going on with the equipment. And I understand like all of that part. But I think she had an agenda already set out. She probably, everybody hyped her up. She said, oh yeah, I'm gonna read him for filth. And she did that. And then he read her ass right back. And then they had a problem with what he said. So I think it's weird. I think it's strange, but whatever. The next thing, and that was the part that I commented in the group chat with my friends about. And, I just wanted to acknowledge he did answer the questions and she started it basically because I feel like people will believe it because, a lot of people are not going to take the time to go and watch. But the funny thing is, that's the only clip that I watched initially. My friend actually did take the time to go watch, and she came back and said, oh my gosh, I should read you guys the actual text. But she basically said, she did acknowledge one thing about them changing the campaign and changing the nominee from Biden to Harris midstream and him having to readjust. So she did acknowledge that. But then she said, but they asked him about Sandra Sonia Massey, and he didn't have an opinion. He didn't care enough to even brush up on the subject. And it just says that he does not care about Black people. And so I'm like, oh my God, Trump, are you crazy? Why would you not like brush up on this subject? Why would you not have an opinion? Why would you not basically say the right things? Because you know we are an emotional people and you have to appeal to our emotions sometimes and a lot of times. Sorry, especially when you think about it, and Black women leading, we are very emotional, we are very spiritual, and it just our feelings, we are led by our feelings a lot. And that's true, I feel like, when it comes to religion as well, and it's evident in that arena also, and that's definitely keeping us in a situation as well, and we can get into that at another time. So she told me that, and I'm like, are you crazy? So okay, so I went with that and I'm like, Trump, are you crazy? So the next day I get up and, it pops up on YouTube. I'm like, oh, well, let me just watch the whole thing, right? So I see the Sonia Massey portion of this interview, and it's actually about the immunity and will cops in these kind of situations get immunity? And he basically said, no, not in this situation. He's talking about when there is a honest mistake basically in all of this going on, which I agree it would be hard to kind of determine that, and that's kind of how it's been so far. So when he says immunity, he should probably stop saying that. And I know he wants, and he has, I think, the police union and all of those on his side. I mean, he wants to keep them that way, but he definitely shouldn't say things like that. I think it is already the way he's described wanting it. So immunity, he just needs to clarify more often what he means by that, because I don't think all police officers should have immunity. And apparently he does not either, because he made that statement here. Let's continue.
Where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom. For the Black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act.
For you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work, in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define
language to you. And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
She didn't really define it. She just stated the words that are in the, what is it? Not the anagram, whatever it's called. DEI does stand for diversity, whatever, and inclusion, which is basically what is the word? Affirmative action, in other words. And do I believe that, first of all, do I believe Kamala Harris is a DEI candidate? Absolutely, because I specifically remember Charlamagne the God. I specifically remember Reverend Al Sharpton and Ricky Smiley and several other people saying, Joe Biden needs a Black woman. Joe Biden needs a Black woman running mate. Joe Biden needs a Black woman. That was the only qualification. That's the thing. That was the only qualification that the people had. So that is exactly what she is. And that's because that's what we put out there. Not we, but that's what our requirements were. It wasn't that, okay, had this kind of record, wants this for the country, this, that, and the other. No, that's not what I heard the people requesting. And let's not, because y'all, that's how y'all play. And y'all want to, but I remember the conversations. I remember it very clear, and I should have had a clip. And, I usually do that, and I can find it for you. So yes, she is. Also, do I think DEI has been needed? Absolutely. I was talking to my homegirl, and I'm going to just say her first name starts with the letter V. And, we were talking about, she's a landlord, et cetera, and she talks about not wanting to hire Black people. So get out of here with the DEI situation. It is needed because even our own people don't want to hire our people. So let's not play. Let's not act like the white people want Black people in their companies. And based on what we see in the media, based on a lot of examples, we understand why, okay? Um, so it's bittersweet because I feel like if they take away the DEI and take away the incentives for these companies to hire, um, you know, minorities, then they will stop hiring minorities. And that's the bitter part. The sweet part is hopefully we would have the wherewithal to start our own communities. And this is what I would like. I would like protections put into place so that things like Black Wall Street and different things like that won't happen again, where white mobs and other mobs come in and now they have, Soros paid mobs of any color that come in and destroy these Black businesses and stuff. So definitely we need some type of protections against that. But it has definitely been needed. But people, should they be able to choose who they want? And are people usually going to gravitate to their own? And do most people not want, So, I mean, let's just correct and address the issues and stop sweeping them under the rug and acting like, oh, this is not really a thing. Because when someone else says it, it's wrong. When we say it, it's girl, you show right. I understand what you mean. But anyway, I'm trying to get to the Sonia Massey thing.
Because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a Black person.
Just to be clear, sir, Dan.
And that is so true. And we have been saying the same thing. She was the first Indian American senator, et cetera, et cetera. And they talk about her dad. Her and her dad don't have a great relationship. They say, he's Jamaican. Yeah, he could have been born in Jamaica, but they say he's Irish and Indian. Neither here nor there, honestly, for me. I don't care. The whole point is, even if you are Black, you are not in the Black community. You don't have Black children, definitely don't have Black sons. So you don't know like what's going on really for real, I don't think. Or you don't have that empathy and compassion. And then also, whether you're Black or not, the way you pander, like the way the Democrats pander to the Black community, and just expect us to gravitate to them because they have campaigns like booties to the poll, get your booties to the poll, and they twerking at the Washington Memorial and all this. That's crazy to me. But anyway, she got Meg Thee Stallion, she got Quavo. And do y'all understand that Kendrick Lamar was talking about her? I want Kendrick Lamar to come out and say, hey, make sure you don't use my verse from Freedom. And Beyonce, I have a problem with that. I love Beyonce. But, she's always been a Democrat. She's always been, because she campaigned for Hillary. And she did post that she had voted for them, but she didn't really campaign for Biden Harris the last time. But she did post her little, I voted for, or I'm with, whatever, her little bumper sticker or whatever. So I don't appreciate that. But if y'all peep game, Kendrick Lamar said about Drake and Not Like Us that he go to Atlanta to get a bag when he needed. And he's basically given his Black card by all the Black people in Atlanta, including Quavo. He said, but they lied or whatever. She's a colonizer just like Drake. If Drake's a colonizer, you got to say that Kamala is as well, because she did the exact same thing. She used the exact same guy in the exact same city. So let's not play games like it didn't happen. I just want the people to hear what he said about the Sonia Massey situation.
In my opinion, the worst inflation we've had. They say it's 58 years, but I think it's much more than that. It's been destroying the Black community probably as much.
It is destroying.
It's very clear. I hear you.
Okay. So Sonia Massey, someone from Illinois, an unarmed Black woman, was shot the other day in her home by a deputy sheriff. The deputy has since been charged with murder. You've said police would get immunity from prosecution if you win. Why should someone like that officer have immunity, in your opinion?
Immunity?
Immunity.
I don't know the exact case, but I saw something, and it didn't look good to me. It didn't look good to me. Are you talking with the water, right?
Yeah. Well, police unions are not backing this person either. Okay. But again, why would
they're going to be charging the officer? I guess they're charging the officer.
So why should he receive immunity?
Well, he might not. I mean, it depends. It depends on what happens. I'm talking about people that are much different cases than that. We need people to protect.
He said, I'm talking about people that are much different cases. So he's not talking about this man needs immunity. He said he might not be. He said, I'm talking about people in much different cases.
Ourselves. And by the way, in Chicago, as an example, a few weeks ago, July 4th weekend,
So
they
he
had
does support the
117
police. He does
shootings
know
and
that there is
17
crime
deaths.
in Chicago
Nobody wants that.
specifically.
Nobody wants that. We need to have our police officers have the respect and dignity back. In this particular case, I saw something that didn't look good to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
So, can you get a little more specific back to the immunity question?
So he's not saying that this guy should get immunity. He's saying this situation did not look good to me. But of course, he can't speak because who knows what's gonna happen. Just he said, from what I saw, it didn't look good to me. I mean, that's the answer that I needed. My homegirl basically lied, and I sent the message and said, hey, you misled us just like the news did. I bullshit you guys not. She screenshot what she said the day before and cropped out the part about him not having an opinion, etc., etc. Posted it and said fake news. And I was like, girl, so I screenshotted the conversation and highlighted the part that she cropped out, which to me is sickening because we're all in a group chat and everybody can scroll up and see what you said, but I'm going to bring it back down for the people. You don't even have to go all the way up there. But I just feel like people have selective hearing. They are in a fit of rage. They have tunnel vision. They see red, et cetera, and they cannot hear clearly. So that's the one interview. The second interview
She was
went
excellent.
totally
The other
different.
person I didn't know, she was okay. I wouldn't say she was great, but she was okay. But I did it.
Hold on. This is the Aiden Ross interview. I meant to pause it, not stop it. The Aiden Ross interview I thought was excellent. You can see the difference in Trump's demeanor when he feels like he's in a safe space. This guy actually admires him, which you don't have to, but it definitely helps. The conversation went very smoothly. The guy actually played a game where he put up different pictures of people and he explained, and it wasn't like a funny thing. I think they thought it was going to be like a comedy situation, but he addressed, oh, Kim Jong-un, yeah, he's a tough guy. I went over there, he just really loves his country. We had an agreement though, they are going to pay us our money. They have to have, trade agreements and different things. He started going into details, policy details, of how he handled these different political leaders. We'll watch a little bit of it.
Actually, a lot of people think it was well handled. The woman, I feel I have an obligation to do it. I want to look with it. You become the president for all of the people,
Right.
not for.
So he is actually talking about the interview that we just watched. And, I think he spoke very highly of the lady Harris. He said several times that she was great. She's a professional, et cetera, et cetera. We had a great conversation. I'll just let him talk.
A certain segment,
Correct.
not even for just my, they talk about my base, it's a very big base, but you become president for all of the people. So
So
I
he
feel
said
you have
he's
an
not even
obligation to
president,
do
it's
that.
his
Now,
base.
she's not doing anything. She's not doing any interviews because I don't believe she's capable. She starts,
You know what is funny? That Stephen A. Smith actually called her out as well about not doing any interviews. And, we kind of expect it from him, but I'm glad, keep that same energy, okay, for the Democratic machine that you keep for the other people that you throw under the bus. So I appreciated him calling her out. And he said, you got my vote anyway, which is crazy, but you need to answer some questions. So at least he called her out on that part.
many of those people are people that you should not have, and we're all for everything, all men are created equal, as the expression goes. Right?
Of course.
And now today they say all men and women are
Yeah.
created equal. When
Yeah.
they wrote that, it was a slightly different time. Today, that alone is a politically incorrect
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah, it
So
is.
all men and
It
women
is.
are created equal, everything. But the fact is, when you're dumping all of these criminals and all of these drug dealers all of these people into our country, you're really hurting our country. Common sense, right? You know, it is about common sense. I mentioned that term because whether you're conservative, liberal, it's all about common sense.
It is.
You want to have good education. You want to have borders. You want to have low interest rates, be able to buy a house. You want to, you know, so many different things. But you got to have common sense. And we're run by people. And, you know, just a little thing, when I started campaigning.
I want to ask you a question. She did a rally recently. She had a rapper speak, and then she had a rapper twerk at a rally.
Yeah.
A rapper was twerking at a rally.
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts on that. You know, it's crazy to me to think that there could be twerking
I know.
at a rally.
Well, what Hillary did is she would go out and get Bruce Springsteen. He'd get much smaller crowds than I got, to be honest. And he had a
So I thought this was funny because Aiden did kind of want him to go in and laugh and whatever, but he didn't respect the twerking. He probably enjoyed the twerking, okay? And then he's actually going to say she was smart about it because Hillary would get the guy to perform first, and then the people would leave and not hear her speech. Kamala did it the opposite way, so he kind of praised her on that.
guitar, right? I don't have a guitar. But he would fill up a place, and then he'd finish, and they'd all leave, and she'd be speaking. So now Kamala's doing the same thing, because nobody wants to go watch her. Nobody, rappers, and they fill up the place. But what she does is a little bit different. She has them go last. That's smart. I give. So in other words, they want her to finish her speech, get the hell off the stage, and then they can listen to the
The
rap.
performance starts.
No, it's pretty.
It's kind of smart.
Hillary did. No, I give her credit.
Yeah, give it to her a little bit.
Hillary never figured that out. She'd get some stuff. If they would leave, everybody would leave, and she's talking to an empty stadium. You know? Anyway, this is a little better idea.
Yeah. I
am.
Who are like your favorite fighters?
That's where he finds the best fighters. Now
Yeah.
he cannot be replaced. He's truly great at what he does.
He's the coolest. I know you're a UFC fan, right?
I am.
Who are like your favorite fighters?
Well, I think Khabib. I mean, how good is Khabib? Do you know who Khabib is?
Of course I know who Khabib is.
Khabib was 29, 28 and 0, and then his father died and he stopped. But I think he never lost. I don't think he ever lost a round. Like,
Wow.
So he starts talking about this guy. I think he is from Ukraine or somewhere. But he just praised Trump on, how he kept the peace and, how this conflict currently is affecting his loved ones. I'm not familiar with this guy, or maybe it's the other conflict that we're in with, Israel and the other one.
many times. He never lost like a round. And I thought he was I got to meet him at a fight.
I don't always have one.
Very, he came to me and he said, "You're the man that can stop the war," because he's talking about the war with Ukraine, Russia.
Of course.
Because he knows they're his people. I mean, on both sides, right? There's so many people dying in that war, and the whole culture is being destroyed. The cities are coming down. They just
Oh, don't say both sides. They'll say, "Oh, you said there's very fine people on both sides," where there definitely could be. And, just regular citizens in Ukraine or regular citizens in Russia minding their business caught up in the drama.
He comes in and he allows everybody to go. China now is buying millions, billions, and billions of dollars worth of oil. And Iran now is a very rich country. And October 7th would have never happened. And it wouldn't happen.
Okay, so he's saying the reason he kept the peace and the reason Iran was not able to fund Hamas is because he cut off their money supply. He was not allowing people to buy oil from them. China was not able to. Now they are, and now they got money for wars, basically.
Because they didn't have the money to pay Hamas and Hezbollah and all of these, they call them instruments of terror, a lot of different names. And so October 7th would have never happened. The recent attack on the park would have never happened. That was so graphic and so, public. And you'd see children with their legs cut off. Those initial scenes were so horrible, where a rocket landed in a little soccer field. Just terrible. All of that stuff would have never happened. And we'll get it stopped fast, by the way. We'll get it stopped fast. There's no games. Felt that way about somebody else, that's okay too. But you have journalists today, like that one that intercepted me, literally. That was like That was like a booby trap. I walk in and she starts saying, "We got to start a meeting." She didn't say, "Oh, thank you very much for being here."
No.
Just like the worst. And frankly, if I owned that network, I would fire her so fast. It was so inappropriate. And I actually, once you sort of walk out, then you put the guard up, and you actually give less information than what you would have if they did it with sugar, right?
That's another
But she
topic.
doesn't know about sugar, that one. That was sort of terrible. It became viral, #1 viral.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was the question that was viral. I think my answers were sort of good.
They were really good.
I think they could anyway.
I want to real quick talk about one thing. It was super important to me when I saw it. Censorship. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw what Elon had posted.
Assassination, it also sent you to Kamala. And people were really angry at it. Look, something wrong with
It's
Google.
crazy.
I don't know if
They-
it's the people
they
running it
kinda like
inside
that.
or the smaller people, so to speak, the people that are actually to die. And I understood that.
Yeah.
The other thing that happened that was amazing is within 5 seconds, it was amazing. And they were confused because you could be up, but you're not looking too good. And I felt it was important to let people know that I was okay and our country was okay, in a true sense that our country was okay. And so I did that. And the audience was just, they were.
Oh, he asked him, like, how did you have it in you to stand up and put your fist up? And he said, you know, he basically wanted the people to know that he was okay. They tried to take him out on a stretcher. You know, that definitely would have looked bad. And he said it was a lot of blood coming from the ear. Oh, this was really touching. I just thought, thank you
Here.
for doing that.
And I went down, and they were whizzing over, and I had 7 people,
And he
maybe,
even speaks
a lot of
highly
people, a lot of
of
very big
the,
people on top of me within seconds.
Service
And
people,
a lot of
even
people
though
that
they
I know
were
would not
wondering
have.
what it was.
They would not have
They
done
were
that.
brave enough to try to block
Aiden,
him.
I'm telling you,
So
when bullets are
let's
coming right
get
over you,
to
and you
them,
got people
definitely
willing to.
belong in
I asked a couple of them, they expected to die. They actually, a young guy, sort of, you know?
Yeah.
He's a young guy, sort
Yeah.
of.
I got you a gift. Well, a couple gifts.
Oh, good. That's good.
I'll show you, another gift. I'll show you, sorry, the second gift a little bit later.
Okay.
But I did get you a gift, and I got you this gift because, look, you are, I feel like you constantly get beat on, but you're so strong, and you just, like I said, you live for the people, and you're a hero. I wanna present to you this gift right here. I hope you like watches, Rolexes.
Wow. Oh, that's a beautiful watch.
Yeah.
Should I open it?
You should open it, and then
wow.
show the camera.
That's a great watch, actually. Good company. There's good nice packaging.
They do, really, really nice.
Player and Arnold Palmer and all the golf guys and all the other guys too. I do. This is beautiful. Wow. Thank you. Don't they have nice packaging?
They do, really, really nice.
Wow, that's so nice. Oh, should I show that to the audience?
Yeah, they can see it.
No, that was really nice.
didn't know.
And
Now I know it's-
appreciate Aiden for
Now I know it's worth it. Wow. Well, my boys said, "Oh, that's such a big show." I don't know what you're doing, but you really are respected. Amazing. I mean,
I appreciate it.
you know, I go into other shows, nobody does a big deal about it.
I do want to say also,
Thank you very much.
shout out to
That's
Nelk boys. I know you love Nelk.
Oh, they're great.
They're the greatest.
Well, that was through Dana. You know, Dana's very much into this world. Dana's the Nelk Boys, and he asked me to do their show. And I will tell you, I got a tremendous response. You know, you do some of these big shows, you do like 60 minutes, and nobody cares. You do Nelk or you, and I can already see so many people go, I hear you're doing the show with Aiden.
Oh, wow.
I said, I've had a lot of big stuff, Aiden. So I just have to say outstanding to do what you've done at a young age. And I know how old you are. You're young. You're seriously young. My suit is older than you are.
How old's your suit?
So he's very complicated. Let's say complicated.
So I like this part of the interview when he was showing the pictures, and I guess he plays on his show, you know, whatever he called it. I forgot what he called it, but he pulls up pictures and he says, say one word to describe this person. So Kanye, he said complicated, which is true.
Because he's a really nice guy, but he can get himself into trouble, and he can get some other people. But you know, he's got a good heart. He does. But he's complicated, Kanye. Fake, but in all fairness,
Yes, fake because she was an actress and then now she's acting like whatever she is.
look, but she knows it. She's got a thing going. It's a good thing. She's a good thing for her. But there's a certain something she's
I
got.
mean,
She's got a
Taylor
spark.
Swift.
That's pretty amazing, actually. She's got a good spark. So I'll change it. I'll say spark. She does have. She gets on. You know, when she was running.
Spark.
Well, there's a
Xi Jinping.
powerful man. He's a powerful man. I know him. She knows him, and got to know him extremely well. We had a great relationship until COVID. COVID was a step too far, but we did very well with
COVID was
China.
a step too far.
President Xi.
Basically,
We
said
did very, very well with China. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars. No president took in 10 cents. I took in. And I exposed China. Look, I want China to do great. Okay, but they can't take advantage of us like they were doing for years.
Hello. Okay, he said he loves China. He wants China to do great. Yeah, I love China too. Like they got all the things, all the products and stuff. But definitely don't be taking advantage of us. Don't cause us to like the Green New Deal or the Paris Accord or whatever it was when we're supposed to join this thing and start our restrictions immediately and pay immediately, but China doesn't have to pay for 10 years. They don't have to start their restrictions for 10 years so they can build up their economy all that time in the meantime while we're restricted. That's crazy to me.
Years would lose $500 billion a year in trade, all of it. But then COVID came in and it really, I changed, but I will have a very good relationship with him. There's no going to war with him. He doesn't want to go to war. We're not going to go to war. And we had a very good relationship, actually. He was right in this room. He came to this country, and he stayed here for a number of days, as you remember. And we had incredible meetings, a very famous meeting in the dining room, actually. You know, I think it's a shame because I like him. I got along with him great. I helped him a lot with his fires. I kept saying, why don't you do something about the forest fires?
Yeah.
There's no reason to have that. There's no management. They have no management control over the forests. I said, you have to do things. But I got
So that was definitely another thing that piqued my interest during his pregnancy, presidency, was what he said about the forest fires in California. He said he talked to other leaders of other countries who have forests as their whole country, and he said they don't have wildfires like that. He said they do forest management. So they go and clean up all the like falling trees or the dead trees, all the not grass, but leaves and all the dried up material on the ground. Because if you have a tree that has fallen and now it's dried out, it's basically fuel for a fire. So that can definitely help. He also mentioned basically building moats around, between the forest and the communities to stop these fires from going into the different communities and stuff. But Gavin Newsom in California makes no moves, apparently.
along with him great, but he has not done the job.
No.
He has not done the job. Sad.
Got a few more. Let's see what we got next.
Yeah. He's turned very liberal, actually. They say he's the son of Fidel Castro, and could be. I mean, anything's possible in this world, You're going to learn as you get older.
And okay, y'all better quit playing. When Trump says stuff like that, he's not just talking at the side of his neck, okay? He's saying that because shit is probably true. The man read the files, okay? The nigga got all the secrets, okay? Quit playing like you don't.
You've seen a lot already for your
Oh,
age.
water.
Per age, I would say. Per year spent, you've seen as much as anybody. But Justin Trudeau is, I get along with him very well, actually, but he seems to be going very progressive, and the people of Canada are not liking it. I mean, if they had a good conservative person, which...
Wow. Speaking of the people of Canada, when Kamala has been mentioning this healthcare for all thing, and by the way, she means illegal immigrants as well. And I'm sorry, people who come over undocumented without the proper paperwork and not through the proper channels are coming over illegally. So that makes them illegal immigrants. We live under a system of laws and rules, and we have to follow the laws and the rules. And I think everybody who comes in, especially if you come in getting benefits, you need to be following the laws and the rules. I don't know. But anyway, so she means healthcare for all the people included, including people who are not even supposed to be here, who have not been putting in, like, you can't, I was telling, in relationships, you can't make withdrawals without making deposits first. It's just ridiculous, just like at the bank. So anyway, somebody in China chimed in. I don't know, not China, gosh, Canada chimed in and saying, y'all think that's what y'all want, universal health care? They said they have months and months wait before they're able to get into their primary care doctor, and forget about specialists. Then they say, oh my gosh, they talk about their taxes are out of control and all these different things. And also veterans were chiming in, and they said, you think universal health care is going to be a good thing when we just came out of a situation where the veterans were waiting months and months and months to get treatment until President Trump and his administration came in and said, you know what, we're going to open up the network for you guys, and you don't have to just wait on the VA hospital. You are going to be able to go to all of these public and private hospitals if you want. You can choose wherever you want to go and be seen and be treated.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. But somebody that's a strong conservative would win in Canada. Canada is very unhappy about the way they've been treated as people. Now, this man I really got along with well. We had Little Rocket Man. We had the red button. He said, I have a red button on my desk. And I said, no, I have a red button too. And mine's bigger than yours and mine worked. And it was...
And I think about this, I feel like we definitely need
a really bad.
We definitely need a
he
narcissist on.
Very, very tough
that.
on
Okay,
President
so
Obama.
that
Very tough on everybody. It's the hermit.
We need someone who is a master manifester, who has ideas of grandiose about himself, so that he can be confident enough to lead the most powerful country in the world.
Nation, and it really is.
I
said to him, do you know Elton John? No. I said, did you ever hear the song Rocket Man? And I actually played him the song Rocket Man. He said, no, I've never heard it. I said, you're Rocket Man. He said, no, you call me Little Rocket Man, not Rocket Man. But I get that I'm not there. Nothing would have happened with him. We would have gotten along with him fine. I was trying to get him to do, his country is, you talk about location. I'm a real estate guy. He's right between, think of this, Russia, China, one side, and South Korea on the other. I said, you have a great piece of real estate. You could make so much. You could have gorgeous things. I said to him, think about gorgeous condos going up on your shore. He's got a lot of ocean. He's got ocean frontage on both sides, right? But I got along with him great, and we would have had no problem with him. Now he's getting very angry with us, and he's getting very angry with, I understand he doesn't like her. He doesn't know her, but he forms opinions, and he doesn't like her. And he thought that Biden was a stupid man, a very stupid man. He would say that, but I say the same thing, so at least we agree on something. But Biden they really have senators, I understand.
Yeah, I just was wondering if there's a way that we can make sure he gets treated fair, that's all.
So I've heard about him, and I heard he's being treated very unfairly by her, and I would tell her he's got to treat these patriots that are being all terrible. They're going after him. And I hear Young Thug is being treated. I heard the name.
Yeah.
I heard it from other people where they say he's being treated very unfairly.
Very unfair.
So he's got to be treated fairly.
Please. 4 people left.
Okay.
Got some, hopefully some good ones. Well.
So he was very good with me because when they were doing the Russia hoax, they said I did something with him on a phone call.
Oh, that phone call when he asked him to kind of expose any corruption, especially the Biden corruption of him being told to fire a DA that was investigating the Biden family, or at least the son.
Far
But yeah,
greater than what they're saying. That's a really it's a nasty thing going on over there. But I think I will be able to get him and Putin together, and we'll get it ended. It would have never started if I were president. We had no chance of starting. You know, I knew Putin very well, know him very well.
Nashville. So, you talked about crypto. You said that crypto can help with that. You know, you mentioned that it's somewhat like gold. Do you think that, you know, when you get back in office, you would still fully support crypto? And
again, China's already doing it.
yeah, he said, I mean, we got to get on board or we're going to get left behind.
We shouldn't have, obviously, all electric. You know, they have this electric car mandate, and they don't go far. They cost a lot. They're going to be made in China. And under Biden, he wants everybody to drive an electric car. No more gas-propelled cars, no more hybrids, no more anything. Think of it. How crazy.
Part of their
And you can drive a car from here to Los Angeles on a tank of gas.
Green New
Same thing
Deal,
with trucks. They want trucks to go electric.
environmental.
They'd have to make 6 stops to get to Los Angeles. The weight of the batteries is so heavy, it's 2.5 times heavier than a truck without, you know, with diesel. And you would have to rebuild all of your bridges all throughout the country. And I asked the trucking industry supports me because of this. I mean, they probably like.
Are you thinking about starting an online business?
I mean, these types of things are important to.
You could have a child go into a meeting, and within 1 minute or 2 minutes, they would convince you that it doesn't work. Maybe sometime, but I think it's essentially never going to work.
Yeah, and they've only built apparently 8 charging stations.
These people are going to destroy our country. We can't let them do it.
horrible.
In the 3
Yeah, well, you're like this other one too. You're very busy. It's already 2:15. How much time would you say we have? Because I do want to give you.
So I thought this was cute. We took him out and gave him.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Aiden, so
Good? We back? We good?
Yeah, I thought it was cute. He gifted
Do that?
him.
Yeah, of course.
Can I take? Come on, let's get.
I'll take it. Check out this rapper. Let me know your honest thoughts.
I think it's incredible. I think it's incredible.
Go to the front?
So you know what they did? AI.
So I just thought that was interesting. He gifted him that truck as well. So I just wanted to kind of show you the difference in the 2 interviews and how much information he was able to get out on the Aiden Ross interview versus the NAJB interview. Also, I hope EYL invites him and that he attends the Earn Your Leisure Invest Fest. I think that would be awesome. I think as a businessman and as a presidential candidate who kind of champions entrepreneurship, I think it would be great for him to be there. I hope they are not afraid of the backlash. Anyway, you guys, just trying to give you guys a little glimpse into what I see and like the stark differences. And I mean, but like it or love it, it is what it is, and I respect your opinions. I hope you respect mine. Have a good one and bloom to your fullest potential. Peace.
What Google did is they took, or they let it happen. See.